Hello again. Welcome to day two of 100 days of YouTube videos from me, Gavin Kowalski, founder of Method Engine, sales training and coaching for B2B tech software and services businesses. So today I wanted to talk about probably the most overused slide that my coaching clients and training clients see, and one of the biggest sort of pet peeves that I have when we talk about sales and deals. And it's basically this. We talk a lot about the sales cycle. We talk a lot about the sales process. We very rarely talk from a customer-centric perspective on this. We very rarely talk about the buying cycle and the buying process. So in Salesforce or Pipedrive or HubSpot, whatever we have these great stages and we move them through. They're a prospect. Have we done a discovery call? Have we done a demo? Have we sent a DocuSign? So on and so forth. They are our processes. They're what we do, right? They've got very little to do with how we solve our customer's problem, and they've got very little to do with how a customer or a client goes about buying. Now, what I'm displaying here is the B2B buying cycle as I see it. Now, this is based on the buying cycle that Neil Rackham puts in his book, Major Account Sales Strategy. So Neil Rackham, very famous for spin selling, but that is not the only arrow he has in his quiver. He's done an incredible amount of research, and two books I would highly recommend to sales professionals to read and sales leaders to read. One would be Major Account Sales Strategy, which is basically taking spin and putting it on steroids and applying it to the whole buying journey, and Rethinking the Sales Force, which is fundamentally about how you structure your sales team to create value for your customers. And he talks about this 5-stage process. And what I've done is I've taken that process and I've used some of the language that Gartner use when they talk about a buyer's journey. Particularly in 2024, they look at how AI, for example, impacts a buyer's journey, how they would use AI, the different stages they go through. And these are some of the words they use. So this is kind of like a hybrid, a chimera between like Neil Rackham's 30-year-old sort of explanation of the buying process or the buying cycle in generic terms, and the language and terms that Gartner are using today in 2024. Now, it starts with problem identification. So, does the customer feel they have a problem? If they do, how significant is it? Is it recognized by multiple stakeholders? Is there consensus to do something about it? Does it warrant action? That's the first phase. That's what we talk about when we talk about discovery. And in fact, when we go through our discovery process, oftentimes this problem identification journey is the journey we need to help our clients relive or help them go on in the first place. Second stage, solution exploration. So once they've identified they have a problem, what are the solutions to that problem? What options do they have in the market? What criteria should they use to make that decision? And which provider, vendor best meets their requirements? Don't forget, also one option is status quo, do nothing. Because a lot of what we do in sales, or in fact, everything we do in sales is about selling change. It's about encouraging, enticing, creating energy or movement behind changing how a client does something for mutual benefit for both parties. Addressing concerns. So this is that, you've down selected a vendor. What are the risks in going with this vendor? What are the risks in making the wrong decision? What if it goes wrong? How are they going to mitigate for that? How are they going to prevent something happening before it goes wrong? And if it does go wrong, how do you then address it afterwards? Having a plan. Do we trust our preferred supplier? Are we confident in this vendor? Those are all the questions that the buyer journey has to go through. Supplier selection. So this is really that decision point, and it's that paper process as well. So for small orders, it's DocuSign, sign, right? But as you get bigger deals, as you get bigger orders, it's complex decision processes. It's legal, finance, commercial terms being reviewed. Do you have an MSA in place? Are you credit worthy? What if you go bust? Whose paper are we going to do the deal on? How many different individuals need to sign it off? Yes, the CIO might have budget, but does the CFO have the final sign off, or vice versa? So that's the mechanic, the technical process that sits around actually choosing a supplier. And then the most important part, the solution ownership, right? Does the client get value from the solution? How quickly will they see value? What are the steps they need to go through from the purchase decision through to implementation to actually get that value? And then over the time in which they own that solution, what changes? Market conditions, the business, and how quickly does that solution then perish? How quickly does the return on value start to erode, and they need to look at doing something again? So this is the journey. And the important thing to remember about this as well is when you are doing large complex deals, in fact, any deal I would say over $250,000 in ARR, you're going to have multiple stakeholders, all of whom have a slightly different view on what the problem is, how significant it is, whether it warrants action, who are the best vendors, what are the criteria they should be using, what are the risks they need to mitigate for. You need then to get consensus, and you need to think about each stakeholder, each individual in the process, and their own individual buying journey, their buying cycle that they're going through, from stage 1 problem identification all the way through to stage 5 solution ownership. So when is each individual stakeholder going to start to see value from the purchase? You need to war game each of those individuals, so you've got a really holistic view of the mechanisms, the machinations, the politics, the journey that organization, those individuals are going to go through when they assess what to do about this problem, this pain that they've got. So that's video number 2. If you've ever worked with me, you will probably be sick of this slide, but I keep bringing it up because it grounds us as sellers as intrinsically selfish individuals who are looking to try and hit a target, sell a solution or a product, move something to the next stage. It grounds us and makes us think about things from the buyer's perspective. And ultimately, the only way we're successful is if we help our clients and our customers to achieve what they're looking for. So 101 sales buying cycle. Look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Cheers.